We Are Arcade.com presents the Anime UK podcast with the SSRS.
この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りいたします。
You're listening to the Anime UK show presented by Alex, Aisha, Oren and Harriet.
Featuring news, reviews and discussions from the world of anime, manga, gaming and otaku culture.
Anime UK is brought to you by wearearcade.com. You can find us there every Friday.
You can also like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Anime UK Show, as well as subscribing to us on iTunes and YouTube. Don't forget to rate, comment and keep sending us your lovely questions. Hey, this is Anime UK Show, episode 17. Thank you so much for following us. Please keep liking us, following us on Twitter, sending us your questions. Anime UK Show. We love you guys. This week we've been looking at another few new shows that were released this summer, including Senki Zesso Symphoge G. And I remember Harriet said that this was something she was really looking forward to watching, for really legitimate reasons, whereas I was a bit like, oh yeah, the art's done by the guy who did this. I want to see it. So I'll let Harriet talk about how amazing it is for the right reasons.
Right, okay. Well, obviously it's the second season of Symphoge. The last season you were kind of left thinking would the main heroes live or not, and obviously you see in the second season they do. Because in the first season, I'll explain, you're basically, Hibiki is the main character of season 1. And how she gets her Symphoge powers is she goes to a concert, she witnesses basically the Noise, who are the enemies of the show, and they attack the concert, and the concert's held by Tsubasa and Kanade, and sadly, which one now dies again? I forget. Kanade, she's the one who passes away, but when she does, the relics, as you notice, she kind of, for some reason, ends up in her heart. So now she can transform into a Symphoge. You might have noticed the Ganganier a lot in the yeah. That's basically the relics that they use to transform. There's only how many are there? There is only 6 of them. And obviously we knew of 3, and we found the other 3 after the first 2 episodes of season 2. Basically, after all that's happened, Tsubasa is in the middle of a concert, I think singing with another well-known singer known as Maria. And she basically starts off a brand new war, saying that if you don't surrender the world to us, we'll basically kill you with Noise. And with one touch, the Noise can kill you. So they're kind of left in a predicament now where Chris, Hibiki and Tsubasa have to fight against these 3 new characters and basically stop the world being destroyed.
Yeah, basically to summarise what Harriet just said, shit just went down, and music's everywhere, noise is going on, and there was just so much going on for this first episode of a new season. I was like, obviously I'd not watched the previous ones, I had no effing clue what was going on.
I think
me neither.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sitting there going, wow, they look so pretty when they transform and they're all naked and shit, but I don't know what's going on. But I would like to say the voice acting was really cute, and it was really like, blah, 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 and it kind of suited. Otherwise, this would actually drive me mad by now.
What did you think of the songs? Because I love the songs.
I thought the songs were okay, you know. That's probably what kept me watching the episode, because I really had no idea. And everyone's like, oh no, blah, 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 and I'm like, I don't understand.
It helps their power. That's why they sing.
Yeah, again, this
It's like a power-up.
It is, basically. Like Hibiki, you might have seen it briefly at the end of episode 2 when they do the ultimate swan song. And she kind of, her eyes go red and whatnot. She has, like, that's her berserk form. So when she goes berserk, that's it. You can't calm her down. Literally, she just destroys anything and everything. Also, I found, because you mentioned the transformations, they're a bit different this season. They were very shorter in the first season. It was literally, they kind of split in two, and then when they came together, their costumes were on. So this season, it's quite good that they're giving them more the detail of what each of their components of the costumes are, because obviously all of them are different.
They'll probably stop doing that after a while when they realise how long it takes.
They'll probably shorten it, or they'll do like the Sailor Moon, they'll split it in three and they do it all at the same time, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, that'll probably be better.
Or they will shorten it, as you say.
So 5 seconds, done.
That's it. I am going to watch the rest of it. I did like it.
It probably made sense to you, so it's fine.
Yeah.
It's probably a really good new episode for you, actually, when you think about it.
Yeah, it was...
so much happened.
I know, because when it finished, the first season finished, I thought, well, how can they carry this on? So obviously, and you have that science guy who is a bit weird.
Creepy.
Yeah, you see him at the end of episode 2 with the Solomon's... oh, I forget what it is. And
Solomon's Cane.
That's the one. And he's staring at them, and you think, right, he's got a role in this as well. But
Villain flag.
yes, but you don't know what, and obviously you have Mum as well, or Mom, you know, an American. But yeah.
I think this is a good way to now jump onto the next anime.
Yes.
Not having a clue what's going on. That will go into Peeping Life. This is a very short animation. It's under 5 minutes long, and each episode it's 3D animated, and you just see you're watching a conversation between two people. You can never see one person's face though. And I watched the first episode and I thought it was like a play because a curtain opens and this husband's just sitting in front of the curtain and his wife is sitting there when the curtain pulls, and I was just like, why is she sitting in the closet on her own? That's what it felt like. And literally they're having a chat about how he just can't do anything to make her happy, and she's just screaming at him over everything, and he's just like, she's like, do you like my robes? And he's like, yeah, but why? Why do you like my robes? It's a nice colour. So you're saying that my other robe isn't a nice colour? And he's like, you're taking this too personally. Oh, and then they start talking about poems, and she's like, recite me a poem. He was like, off the top of my head, yes. Yes. Weeds are growing in the garden. What are you trying to say? I'm a weed? And he's like, no, don't take it too literally. And literally the episode ends and it's like, okay, right, okay, we just watched domestic problems. It gets better though. The second episode made, again, no sense to me. It looks like, did you guys watch it?
I haven't.
Watched the first one.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. What did you feel about the first episode?
It was funny. I was just sitting there. I was wondering what the hell they were doing at first.
Yeah, just sitting there.
I thought they were addressing me. Like, what do you think about this curtain? What? Oh, and then the guy answers, oh, so they're having a conversation. And I realised she's just having a hissy fit of him. When she moves the curtain up, she's going, oh, how do I look? You look very nice. You mean it's not that good? No, you look very nice. Don't worry. It's just him going on about, I remember just listening to him. He's going, your kimono is very yellow. Yes, yellow. Yes, it's very nice, like as you said. And I was like, oh, God, this isn't going to turn out well.
No. You just knew the whole episode was doomed to him being screamed at the whole way through. And I don't even know what the conclusion was to the end of the episode. It was just ended on... Oh, my God. Anyway, so I was intrigued by this. I thought, okay, maybe the second episode will, tell us more about the couple. How wrong was I? The second episode was about two completely different people. You have what I think is a Buddhist sitting on the street, like, giving information about the religion. And then this passer, I thought it was a passerby trying to talk to him, and he's like interrogating him about like what he's doing there and why does he have a mobile phone, because his mobile phone goes off and he just chats on his mobile phone. It was really funny actually seeing a Buddhist on a phone. It's not about materialism, is it? And, he's just, and then I notice after a while behind this dude there is a camera, so he's filming him. I don't know what for. And the episode just ends, and it's like, huh? Again, what the hell was the point of that? But the third episode was brilliant. You guys need to watch this. Oh, it's the best thing ever. You see, okay, they're a couple and they're trying to sleep. They're not the same couple, they're completely different. And they hit really weird noises, and the wife wakes up as usual. And the wife wakes up to the husband, and the husband's like, Is your belly rumbling? She's like, my belly rumbling isn't going to wake me up. And of course she's like, do something. And he's like, for God's sake, why are you doing this to me, man? I have work tomorrow. What are you doing tomorrow? You're doing nothing. What? You're just doing this to wind me up. And then she said, no, seriously, something's there. He was like, oh, it's obviously the tiger prowling around going like, rah, rah, rah. And then she's like, I'm going to cry if a tiger comes in here now. I can't sleep. So then he starts hitting the wall and he's like provoking whatever this noise is, and then it's brilliant. All these like 7 to 10 swords just come through the wall, start stabbing, and then they're like, we should go to bed now. All right, good night. And that's the end of the episode. Brilliant. It was just amazing. You just didn't expect to see swords coming through the wall. Like, you don't know what's going on in the next house. I'm assuming it's the next house, but yeah, some sort of samurai fight. It's so dodgy. Anyway, the weirdest series I've seen, but because it's so random, I probably would watch it again compared to all the other 5-minute fan service episodes I've seen. So interesting. That's the best way to say it. Very interesting. Something that isn't interesting, Flab. Someone else talk about this one. I can't about it.
Alex, I'll leave this to you.
I was the only one that had fun watching this.
Okay,
Alex, go wild.
We'll definitely
Sell it to
leave
me.
you.
Sell it to me now.
No, it's literally just a girls at high school. It's an all-girls school.
And they're all lesbians.
They're not technically, but you could be implied. You meet one girl who's like a big, like, wild girl. She does what she wants, but she's actually really nice. And you follow her around, and it turns out she's keeping an eye on the school. Trying to think of the name. The school president, the class president, yes. Who's your typical pretty girl, long dark hair.
Popular girl, yeah.
See, I was paying attention. Carry on.
Yes. And they don't know each other, and all of a sudden the wild girl gets told, oh, can you hand these leaflets over to the student council by a teacher? And she said, oh, I don't want to do it. She does it anyway. And lo and behold, she catches the student president making out with a giant pillow. Or a man pillow.
Is it a pillow with a face on it?
It's yeah, she's just drawn this really badly looking man. It seems to be her best.
Man.
It was supposed to be a man. She explains later on how it's her ideal version of a boyfriend. And it's like, yes. And the wild girl just goes, yeah, you have no artistic talent. Stop it. Go away. And after this, because she's been caught, she threatens the other girl and says, okay, you can't tell anyone about this. Oh, I'm going to be ruined. And she says, well, why are you doing this? Oh, I need to get a boyfriend, but you're really nice. And, oh, but you're a wild girl. You've probably had lots of boyfriends. And cue a whole misunderstanding series of the wild girl trying to get the nice girl a boyfriend.
Oh, that's so.
I thought it was really sweet. It was just funny.
Well, the thing that got to me was like every second a girl would see another girl and they'd be like blush, and it was like, for God's sake, control your hormones. There's guys here and you're ignoring the guys and you're just getting all like gay for each other, and it's like, calm down, ladies, calm down. I felt it was a bit mean that they dubbed Wild Girl because all it was is that she seemed to be just a bit confident, and she had a little jagged tooth. That's about it. And suddenly she's the wild girl. So I felt it was a bit mean because everyone had these prejudgmental ideas of her, but she was actually really nice.
Well, everyone fancied her anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What's with all the unnecessary fancying? I don't know. I just...
And they fancied the popular girl as well.
Yeah, they fancied obviously the president as well. They fancied each other, man. It's just, I just thought nothing was happening really. I mean, even the plot with the president and the wild girl, that was really slow for me. I felt, I just thought more needs to happen.
Well,
Can wild girl at least fight a bear or something? No, it didn't happen.
I will laugh if at the end of the series, the hug pillow, you know, the image that she has it in, that he's actually real. I will laugh my head off.
I love it when it comes to wild girl. I'll be like, yes, I knew it.
No, but it's just fun watching them interact with each other. It's just like, oh, you can get me a boyfriend. No, I can't. Yes, you can. No, I can't.
No.
I'm not going to tell her that. Otherwise, she'll murder me.
Yeah, she has to be pretense, doesn't she? That she's love experience, but in fact, No, because she's acted like a tomboy all her life. It's, oh, you're one of the guys, we don't need to ask you out, and I felt for her, believe me.
All the traumatic flashbacks.
All the traumatic, I've been in that situation many times before.
Friend-zoned. Not cool.
Oh.
Not cool.
But it's a fun little series, just to watch them interact, even though nothing really happens.
Yeah. Nothing happens, exactly. What was the other one? There was another anime we watched. I can't remember for the life of me what it was.
That just proves how much we did not care about this week.
Oh, right, sorry. No, the most important one, Rosen Maiden. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
So, there was a lot of hype about it. I've not watched very much of the previous ones, but I really liked it. But I knew they were rebooting it for this summer, and I thought, I'm going to watch it. Pre-dresses. I really liked the story. I watched the first 2 episodes. I kind of got confused, to be honest. They did a story where this boy, it's all messed up. He shouldn't have got the
doll.
Chinku doll, but he did, and he decided to wind her up, and then the whole thing began. She came to life, gave him the ring, and then said the whole, "You're my slave. Now make me some tea." Oh, your tea's disgusting. And then in one episode, so much happens. It like explained the whole series to me almost. You get to meet all the other dolls, and they're all incomplete, and they need to get each other's soul diamonds, whatever they are, soul gems, something like that. Anyway, they need to absorb them and then become full dolls. And the second episode was basically the reverse of the first episode, that if he didn't wind the doll, that is what happened in the second episode. So he became older, and then his life basically turned to crap. So this is why boys should play with dolls. No. It's just how life changes, and his life just went terribly downhill, and I won't ruin it. But very fast paced. That's what I liked about it, and the fashion aspect was really nice as well. You kind of got to look at all the intricate dresses and stuff, and I really liked the ending sequence where the dolls are all sitting in the window of the doll maker's place, and you can actually look at them properly, because you can't really see much of the doll 7 because she's bodiless. But yes, guys.
Was I the only one that realised that the story was different?
Yeah, no,
from
that's
the
the point.
original?
Reboot. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because this is.
Look.
That's why I got really confused. It's like, I don't remember this happening.
See, I haven't watched
It's all of a
this
sudden-
yet, but I have watched the original series, so I should give it a watch, actually, just to see what it's like.
Yeah, because the first episode jumps through a hell of a lot from the original series, because it's like all of a sudden, oh yeah, we've already got to the bit where the twin dolls are interacting with each other, and it's like, what?
Already, yeah, in one episode. And what's
like, when did
one
that
a boy, by the way?
One is the...
No, they're all girls.
But she cross-dresses as a boy.
Ah, that's why I got confused.
That's the one with the giant
Yeah,
pair
and
of
that's why
scissors, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, her sister has a watering can.
which is a bit shit compared to scissors. Guess who's going to win in a fight?
She could just bash her over the head. Before the...
I don't know. The cross-dressing one's clever.
True.
Just going to see that one coming a mile away. Yeah, so that was worth the hype, I feel. And what I like about it is you don't have to watch any of the other series to get into it. You can just watch it, and it explains it all. Fast-paced. I love fast-paced anime, so that really worked for me. And the, Harry, you saw a few others as well.
Yes, well, I saw the episode of Danganronpa.
Yay! The kidnapped kids.
Yes.
With the bear.
Yes,
Extreme murder.
Monobe, yeah. That was interesting. I'm kind of glad, because I thought because we all loved the first episode last week, and I kind of thought, oh, can they keep it up? And they did. So there's a few more elements to it. So obviously we know that the basis of the anime is kids in the school, 15 of them. The only way for them to leave is to commit a murder. Now we got a new twist this week that they have to perform the perfect murder so that no one knows who did it. And there's new elements. There were 2 deaths, I will say. I won't say who they are, but there are 2. and Monabear has introduced a new rule.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically we're on to the second episode now. We all loved it last week, and we know that the 15 kids are trapped in school, and we have new rules now. So obviously, for them to leave, they have to commit a murder, but now they have to commit the perfect murder so that no one knows it was them. And 2 murders this week, won't say who. And what happens is Monabear has introduced a new rule that after a murder is committed, they have to go into a courtroom kind of place. It's basically they're in court, and
Ace Attorney.
Virtually Ace Attorney. And it has 999 elements in it. Definitely.
Oh God.
With the courtroom, they have to guess. They have to work out between them who was the right murderer. If they get it right, that person is executed, and then they carry on. But if they get the wrong person, that person will leave, because everyone else will get executed. So they have to get it right. Otherwise, game over straight away. And obviously the main character, he's accused as soon as the first murder has happened. So obviously, you know they're going to have to get it wrong, because if they do, then the anime is going to end very quickly. But in regards to the 999 elements, what they've introduced now, on their keypad thing, they have a new tab that's opened up where they have to go investigate everything. So it is like Ace Attorney in regards to they have to search everything, all the clues, and then they have to analyse it and make sure they've got all their facts right before they actually say, right, you did it, or objection kind of thing. And they left it on the cliffhanger where the court was about to begin. So roll on episode 3.
No.
I want to watch more of this. It's really good.
Fast paced.
I'm gonna have to try.
That's it.
And it's got a bear.
Monabear, yeah, he gets more creepy.
Homicidal bear.
He gets really creepy, more creepy in this episode. He pops up in the bedrooms and yeah, and you think, ooh.
Hello, lady.
Yeah. And the second anime I watched on regards to my boyfriend's recommendation was Neptunia, the anime.
Ah, yeah, based on the game.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry.
I haven't watched it, but I have a feeling I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, I've told him this. We talked about it, and it was very much a whole Skype conversation of what happened here, what happened there, because I think, hands down, he said to me, well, you have to have played the game to know. How can I describe this? I actually have a thing in here. Basically, the 4 goddesses who run the 4 states, they're all based on consoles, so like PlayStation, Xbox, and all that. They kind of join a treaty together so that there's no more wars. But then someone is trying to start a rebellion, basically saying you can't trust. I think her name is. Oh, I forget her name. The main character. But basically, Neptune. That's it. They're trying to stop people believing in her because her power to become a CPU. It's another form, very confusing. That's how she gets her power, is for people believing in her. So the rebels want to stop her from getting this power so they can obviously run their own country. And she's just trying to improve how people will love her. That's basically it. I mean, there are a few breaking the fourth walls in it. I think my only laugh in it was she was standing behind a wooden sign on the ground, and she said, "Oh look, it's the famous 'you can't see me from behind' fence" kind of joke. That was the only thing I found funny. Apart from that, it was more, oh, is it still on? Sad to say.
Yeah, well, please end.
Yeah.
End now.
After 10 minutes, I was thought, oh gosh.
This is pointless.
Yeah,
basically.
I literally, and I stopped. I had to stop and then watch something else, and then I came back to it again.
What?
Yeah.
You tried again?
Yeah, I stopped halfway through, and I thought, nah, I need a break from this. So I stopped, and I watched it again after. And then the second half wasn't so bad. It was more action in it. Yeah, I probably won't be watching this. I know my boyfriend will be, but nah. Sorry. And there'll probably be a lot of people out there who do like it, but this is my personal opinion. I just didn't like it.
Yeah, that's fine, guys. I mean, I think it's probably more for the gaming fan base anyway, to jump into it. Never mind. Doesn't matter. let's move on to what we've been playing, peoples. Alex, you know what we've been playing. Tell us.
I've got to try and say the first word because I always pronounce it wrong. Katawa Shojou. Is that it? I think that's how you say it. Yes. Dating game where you pick up girls with disabilities.
I know, right?
Pretty much it.
Special. I had no idea. I need to actually read synopsises before I play stuff, so I played it and I was like, oh my! Alex will explain why. Straight away you find out.
You play as a guy who gets, he confesses, I think, does he confess to a girl or girl confesses to him?
Yes, so the girl confesses to him. I got confused about that as well. The girl basically says, I really like you, I want to go out with you, and what happens? He has a heart attack. It's brilliant.
Yeah, so that's his disability for the entire game, is he has heart trouble. So because of this, you see him going to the hospital and he talks he's lonely and all that. And after he's recovered, they say he has to go to a special school for people with disabilities because he can't go to a normal school because his heart might flare up. Cue him going around this whole new school and meeting all these people and a load of girls who will be his love interest for the entire game. So it is literally just a dating sim. Yeah. It's a dating sim game where you can choose which girl you like with whichever disability you like. Sounds a bit cruel, but yeah. It's I think there's 5 girls. Rin, girl with the burns, girl who's blind, girl has no legs, and no, there's
Deaf
4.
girl.
Deaf girl, yes. Deaf girl and her
interpreter.
Yes. Which is Misha? Yes,
Misha. And you got the girl with the iron legs.
Yeah, that's Emmy.
Oh, Emmy, yep.
Who's the track runner. But yeah, all the girls have their own problems. Some of them you'll see more than others. So Emmy's the popular one in the series. You'll see her a lot. If you end up going down her route, she's got probably the most ridiculous route because it goes quite quickly and then it stops and it goes quickly again. But everyone tries to go for the young girl, the dark hair, with the you don't see her face. I think
the one with burn.
In the library. Yeah, she's got burn marks on one side of her face.
Well, she's unattainable. Of course, everyone's going to go for her.
I got her on my first run. I admit I did have a bit of help because when you go down certain runs, you'll be put with 2 of the girls, depending on what you've done. And I got put with her and her blind friend. And it was getting very close to her blind friend, and I already knew I didn't want to go down her route because there's no way.
Right?
Yeah, so I got the other route. But yeah, if I've played it twice now, and I've ended up with Emmy and the girl with the burn scars, but I don't know how far you're in.
Oh, dude, no. This game, I was 3 hours in and, like, nothing was happening. It was just talk. Okay, I expect that from, like, a light novel, but this was a dating sim. I wanted a wham-bam get in there. There was just too much. Too much! I mean, God, first of all, when you have the heart attack, you're like, wow, stuff's happening, but no, it really doesn't. And I think I'm literally at the crucial point where stuff's about to happen, because I've met every single girl now. I've met everyone that Alex has mentioned, and I'm probably at the point now where it goes, oh, who do you want to hang out with? And I've just come to the point where I just wanted to pull my hair out and just saved it and turned it off. So now, when I actually next player, I can actually go down a route and talk to a girl. Though I think I've messed it up though. I've just put across the worst impression I possibly could. 1 second I'm confident, 1 second I'm like, nah, I don't really want to talk to you. So I think they all think I'm a bit fickle. So I'm probably going to get no one. I'm sure that's an ending, right? You get no one.
Yeah, if you get no one, you die of a heart attack.
There you go. I'm going to have a heart attack. I've already had one. I've had 2 so far. When I met the Emmy, she bumped into me and I had a heart attack. What about you? Did you have a heart attack?
Yeah, you get it automatically.
Oh, okay, cool. So I'm not intentionally killing my character. Just that.
No.
It's part of the game. Cool.
If you go for no one, as the game states, if you're not getting any exercise, if you stay in your room for too long, without interacting with any of the girls, you do automatically die of a heart attack.
Do you know what? Why can't he be gay? Kenji's so cool. I love Kenji, the housemate.
But the slightly loopy one. That's like, I hate all women.
Stares you and smells of garlic. Oh, he's awesome.
No, he's just a friend.
The wrong game. I should be playing in a reverse harem man. I should have men around me.
Well, the best girl, I was always after Rin, because I was like, oh, an art student, and she's awesome, and she eats things with her feet.
Yeah.
I find that quite cool.
Well,
but she's like almost
harder.
practically impossible to interact with. She's really
No, she's a bit like pissed off. She's like, okay, stop watching me eat. Go away. Make like a tree. She's actually a little bit rude, to be honest, but I think it's a bit like she's embarrassed of her disability because she has to eat with her feet. I think she just does not want people watching her, and she's like, yeah, go away now, bye. And I'm going to have a nap now. What a great way to get rid of someone. I'm going to have a nap now, so yeah, pissed off, unless you like watching girls when they sleep. That's brilliant. She's funny. God love her.
Oh.
So yeah, this is my perhaps second dating sim game. It's definitely hardcore, and you need to really be focused. You can't want to be playing it while you're kind of peckish or fasting, because this game's going to make you want to kill yourself. It's so intense. That's what it is. So intense. There's so much going on, and there's so much description. It's so detailed, and yeah. Perfect.
Bear in mind, no bad ending. Well, there is bad endings, but please don't get them. They're really depressing.
Oh. I probably am, but it's fine. It's the plot, you know. It's different. I have to say, it is really different. I'm going to persevere because I think I'm near to probably getting a girl now, so I'll see what happens. We'll post results on our Facebook page. Yeah, so that is the majority. Also, Project X Zone was released recently. I've been playing that on the DS. Another game where loads is happening. I have no idea what's going on, and it's supposed to be an RPG, and that's not good.
Yeah, I have heard that there's too many characters. It's like too many cooks.
No, I'm not complaining about the characters. There's 50 characters, if not more, and I love it. But what the hell are they doing there? Why are they fighting aliens? You do not know anything. How does a character from Virtual Fighter know a character from Street Fighter? It makes no sense. Apart from I just realised they both end in fighter. Never mind. I'm sure they're not related. It's really weird. It's the referencing, and I know everyone said, "Oh, we're going to play it for the fighters, not so much the plotline." But then why'd you make it into an RPG? Just make it into a normal, platform beat 'em up game. I think it's a bit wasted. But I've only played maybe up to chapter 5, so I've still got much more to play. So who knows? It might change for me.
I played both the demos on my friend's DS.
The demos are crap. Forget the demos. Don't.
Oh really? They were so awkward.
Yeah, I found it.
I have learned to hide in the corner.
Don't bother. The demos are the waste of time. Definitely, if you get a chance to go, I'm not sure if they'll have it at Hyper Japan, but next MCM or maybe Eurogamer, if there are any demo stands there, just play it properly, because the demos just don't do it enough justice. It makes it look even worse than what I'm saying, basically. Yeah, not good at all. Harriet, you're playing something.
Yes,
well,
the Steam sale is still going on, so that's graciously in my money.
Hold on to your wallet.
No, I've topped up about 3 times already. I'm okay at the moment. The last couple of days there haven't been anything I've really...
You haven't had withdrawal symptoms?
Not yet, but I actually had to buy a controller for my PC because I have a laptop, I can't play games on it.
Oh.
So I had to buy an Xbox controller to connect, so I can actually play games on here now. I've got Castle Crushers, which is really good, but I can't play it on my own. I need more people to play with me. Alex,
I can join with you. Unfortunately, I've got the Xbox version. I might get the PC one as well for you, because I've played it before.
It's only £2.49, I think, at the moment, which is...
I have enough on my Steam for that.
No. What else have I been playing? No Time to Explain, which literally is exactly what it says on the tin. You're literally put into the game straight away. No Time to Explain. You're just shooting lobsters and sharks and whatnot. Very weird. Hotline Miami, which
sounds like a fun game.
It is actually very funny. Think of whatchamacallit, like platform games, but you have a laser. That's literally it.
Oh, okay.
Hotline Miami. I haven't tried it yet, but I've seen gameplay of it. It's very dark. Think of retro style GTA, the very first one, from the skyline point of view. So bird's eye view. wait, you're this character, you have to kill off people. It is very grim. System Shock 2, which is a classic. I got that, I think, for £1.49, so that's not bad. Left 4 Dead 2, which I've been playing a lot of because I love the Left 4 Dead series. And this one has, I think I got it for £3, and it has all the games. So it has the first, the second, and the extra levels, which is cool. And finally, To the Moon, which is one of my favourite games of last year. And the music is brilliant. If you can play it, it's an amazing storyline. The guy who created it is actually, he's releasing music boxes, I think, of a couple of the songs, and I think like $20 for the music box, $40 for the piano, but it's worth it. I'm definitely going to get one of them because it's just brilliant. Oh, and also Surgeon Simulator, brilliant. If you want a bit of fun, then yeah, and if you want to have a laugh, there's so many brilliant achievements on there. If you've ever seen, have you heard of the Rage Quit videos of Rooster Teeth? I think
I've
yeah,
seen,
Alex, yeah, they're
I've seen that version. I've seen the other one as well, which my friend showed me, which is actually hilarious, called I Broke Surgeon Simulator.
Someone showed me that last night, and it was brilliant. But I think you need to play it 2-player, because one controls the hand of the movements, and one controls where you go up, down, left, right. But brilliant. So that's my Steam. That'll probably be more because it's finishing the 22nd. By the time this goes out, you'll have 4 days left. So if you have the money and you see a game, go for it because Steam's brilliant for sales like this.
Yeah, this is the time when you start buying all the games that you've been thinking about till recently, and then you're broke around Christmas, and then you buy more on the January sale.
You could do what I did, buy The Walking Dead the week before, and then find out it's 75% off the next week.
No!
Yes!
Yeah, why?
I know, I just cried for a bit, I just couldn't get over it, but never mind. It's life. It's like you go into a shop, you see something that you bought a week ago, and it's on sale. And you just think,
At least you got it in your size, or at least you got the DLC or something. I'm trying to.
Don't worry.
There are reasons for getting pre-orders and buying it on the day. There are, I'm sure there are. Yeah, cool. Any others to add to that?
You were talking about dating simulators. A weird one. Hatoful Boyfriend.
Oh, you played that one. What did you?
I played 20 minutes of it before my computer decided to crash because of the heat, and I couldn't get it back working again. I haven't laughed so much in a long time. I will admit that. It's weird. Same thing. You're a girl going to a school, and you go to a school that's run by pigeons or something like that.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Alex mentioned this one to me before.
I've seen a playthrough of it, but I thought I'll try it myself. But because I have a memory of a goldfish, it was good that I couldn't remember most of it. But it's weird, the pigeon similarities to what they look like as guys, and you just think, oh jeez Louise, this is very confusing. I'm fancying a pigeon now all of a sudden. That's what it tells me.
I hate pigeons, so I'm probably never going to play this game.
There are different types. There's the aristocrats, there's the common pigeon, there's doves, and in the end, I'm glad actually it crashed. I don't think my mind could have taken any more of this.
Getting whooped.
Yes.
Bestiality.
Oh, don't. I don't even want to know how that would work from her being... Yeah, anyway, moving on.
Pigeon.
Something, if you're random, just play for shits and giggles, take your boyfriend. Yeah. Time for the questions. And this week we've got quite a few from Chris Z from Wata. And his first question is, it's apt as well, which Symphogear OP is better? Best person to ask would definitely be Harriet, since she's a big fan.
I only heard the second opening today, but I like the first one. I didn't like it first. It kind of grew on me because it has a kind of not a weird element to it. It kind of reminded me of a certain video game. The second one, I think I need to hear a lot more of. It did sound really good, but so far the first season's my favourite opening.
Okay, cool. And the next one from him is it essentially just a Neo musical? Discuss.
What was that? Sorry.
Is it essentially just a Neo musical? Discuss.
It could be. I think because obviously a lot of the battle elements is singing. Musical, maybe not. Because they're not dancing at the same time.
And no one's in drag.
No.
Yet. So, may I ask, is a normal episode like this episode? Because there's just so much going on. Is it normally, are they sitting around having a chat, a cup of tea? Or is it literally fight, sing?
Well, in the first season, it was very angsty between Tsubasa and Hibiki because Tsubasa basically didn't want to know Hibiki because her partner had died in the first episode. And she didn't blame Hibiki, but she kind of said, how dare you take her power? So it was very much them fighting against each other, and Hibiki didn't want to do that. Second season, yeah, I will admit, they went straight into the fighting, which was very
constant singing.
Yeah, constant singing.
We've already said there's no drag.
No.
There's no dancing, and
no singing about their day.
Episode really. It's been OT.
I mean, obviously, Tsubasa is a idol, so she'll sing a lot anyway. She sings a lot of concerts in the first series, and obviously she sang in the first episode of the second series. But it's more concentrated on the battling, so I wouldn't really consider it a musical as such. But I think if you get fed up with it, then kind of switch off now, really, because
watch something else. You might as well. This is as good as it's getting.
That's
so
it. You're going to get a lot of it. I think there's 13 episodes. I think for this one. So for the next 11, you're going to get it again.
Cool. And right, this one is about Rose Maiden. Who is more awesome, Shinku or Shiginto? Desu.
These are the twins, aren't they?
Someone remind me, yeah. No. Shinku is the blonde with the red dress.
Oh, yeah.
So she's the main doll. I don't know who the second one is, though.
I think the second one's the black dress
With the
doll.
white hair?
Ah, yeah, the one who looks like Chi from Chobits, yeah?
Yes.
I don't know, to be honest, because I kind of like Shinku's uppity attitude, but I like the fact that she's also kind of like a motherly figure. She kind of looks after Hina, well, even though stuff happens to Hina. Shuginto, I don't think they've said much about her in the first episode. I don't really know. I know she's a bit evil, and she's got feathers. She's got a lot of powers, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna go for Shinku. What about you, Alex?
I'm going for neither.
No,
I'm going to go for Suseki, the one that dresses up as a boy.
why?
But she's just adorable. She's really nice.
She's like what is it? What's the word? Monotone, deadpan.
Yeah, but she's really friendly as well. She's like, I'm going to do nice stuff. I don't give a crap about you lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna piss off now in the middle of a fight. Bye. Literally.
I'll have to agree with you,
Okay.
Aisha. I'll have
Pardon?
to agree with you.
Yeah, exactly. Did you have a favourite, or are you gonna?
I don't know, because there wasn't a personal favourite I liked from the series. I'm actually between the two of you because I like both those characters. But there's no clear favourite for me. So as terrible as that sounds.
To be honest, I kind of have an interest in doll number 7, the bodiless one. I think the concept's really cool, and from what you see in the ending sequence of them in the window, she's got an eye patch. She looks kind of cool. So I don't know. Let's see how the character develops. She seems pretty cool. And the last question is, why the hell was Free made? Why, Chris? Because we have needs, and we need to see scantily clad men once in a while.
I have seen, now ever since Free has come out, I haven't watched it yet, I will do. I will.
How could 2 episodes out, man?
I know, there's just, I think I should have swapped with Neptunia for free, I think.
It would have been funnier.
More mental stimulation in
That's
free.
true. But I've seen an awful lot of people, like, not people who I know, but loads of people, guys complaining saying, oh, how dare you put this on, it's not K-on, and we want more girls. And you think, but
No, it's not for
yeah,
you.
give us a chance, because we don't get this very often. I think the last good one was Orin High School Host Club, I think, for...
Yeah. Oh, me and Alex do like Utano Prince
Oh
Summer.
yeah, that's true, I haven't seen that either.
Yeah, but that's got less nudity than this.
That's true, free...
But lots of hotness. We like hotness and singing.
So I just say, look, it's only for the summer season. You know, there are other animes for you to watch, so...
Yes. If you're a man, you shouldn't be watching free anyway. What the hell were you
Well,
thinking?
some people do.
There's been preview videos. You knew what it was about, Chris.
I mean,
Ah.
you know, it's like girls can watch... I like K-on! But I like, you know, I like what I've seen of free.
I like Azumangadeo.
Yeah.
And it doesn't infuriate me that there's no guys. The one guy there is a pervert. But it does not upset me what it is. And I know there's so many guys loving the fan service, but I kind of ignore it and I just love it for what it is. To be honest, I've seen the second episode. There's a bit more about the story, which is good. I still think that the guys could look a bit more healthier, which would make them more attractive. Right now, they're just a bit too lanky for my liking. But
The guys in one of the other series they did looked better.
which one's that?
Yeah, trying to remember the word. Hyoka. It was like a high school series, but with
Alright.
history, which was good. I think that's why they got this from that.
I guess because I don't know. It's a nice concept. It's about swimming, about friendship. I quite like the fact the main guy is a bit of a taunt. What is it? Dark hero issues. I like it.
Bad boy.
Yeah.
Finn.
Why not? He's not like horrible. He's quite nice and domesticated actually, and he cooks for everyone. But he just doesn't really give a fuck. If that makes any sense. He's a nice guy, but he just doesn't care. He's a bit like, yeah, whatever. I just if I have to, fine. But I don't know. He doesn't really talk much either. If anything, the bad guy kind of pisses me off. I normally like the baddies, but he's a bit annoying.
It's not his fault.
He's like not in the episode and he's still annoying me because he's not there and the sister's looking for him. That is really funny. You never know, this might turn into a reversal harem anime and it might be all about the girl, to be honest, because I can see it happening. She's like totally perving all over the guys and eventually they're going to give her attention.
She has a muscle fetish.
There you go.
So she's after everyone in season 2.
This is the series for you.
You like Speedos.
Oh god, and they don't come any tighter than 3.
We really sold that series.
Yeah, man. Okay, so we've got a guest on this week's show. We've got Francesco Telegothica. He's actually a Brolita and one of the few that I've met actually, and he did actually a movie called Reality of Fantasies that was showcased at the V&A and also on the BBC, and he's recently done an event called Austin in Austin, and we were going to talk to Francesco about that.
Hi there. Yes, thank you very much for interviewing me. I'll be very happy to talk about everything you want to ask me.
Cool. So do you want to tell us a little bit about what happened at the event?
Sure thing. Well, basically, Austin in the Abbey was to coincide with the bicentenary of Pride and Prejudice. Myself and Karen Oliphant, who was co-organiser on Austin in the Abbey, we were thinking that there didn't seem to be much in the Lolita community in the way of celebrating the Regency period, and there's a lot of the dresses and a lot of the coordinates are sort of take their cues from the Victorian period or the Rococo era, but not much from the Regency period. And we just thought, okay, well, we'll see what happens if we have an event and we have the themes being the Regency era. And this year, 2013, is 200 years ago. Jane Austen published Pride and Prejudice. and Regency dresses look amazing, and there's lots of places in the UK which are perfect for Lolita meets that had a Jane Austen connection. So that's how Austen and the Abbey came about as a sort of Lolita convention and a Lolita meet. That's how it all started off.
Awesome. And what kind of brands did you get over there showcasing? Like any from Japan or purely Western?
Well, we started out on trying to work out whether we wanted to have main sort of British Lolitas, basically, and having sort of homegrown talent, having a lot of smaller companies, web-based ones, ones that are becoming increasingly popular, for instance, like Stocking Shock or Tofo Cute, which have just released their new range of Dreamy Bows, or Rocking Horse Design, for instance, or Little Miss Kitty. There's so much talent out there in the British Lolita community.
Just need to tap them, really, yeah.
Exactly. And they take part in a lot of the conventions, which is fantastic, but it's nice to involve them more in more Lolita and Japanese fashion specific events. So we got them on board, but also there was this interest that they wanted to see Japanese brands coming over, and also the attendees did. So we decided to look at involving other different brands, and we started sending emails off, and that was when Kazuki Takahara, which is Karen's boyfriend, who's also a Brolita, he got involved, and he started using his connections in Japan and trying to get different brands involved. And suddenly there was this explosion as soon as they saw the fact that we were holding this event at Stoneleigh Abbey, which has huge historical connections with Jane Austen and Queen Victoria. They started to be a lot more interested. So the first ones were Victorian Maiden, then Fairy Wish, which hasn't been heard much of over here, but Fairy Wish are becoming a lot bigger in Japan, and they wanted to expand over into the UK, and what they provide, their items, are being quite well received at the moment. So there was Fairy Wish, and then also Atelier Perot were also very keen as well. So they were the main three that were very interested in being involved.
That's quite good, actually, that you're getting a lot of interest to expand even from Japan. That's amazing, actually. So how did you feel the reception was of the whole event? Because for me, this is quite new. I know that there have been other big events like Frock-On and the other official parties for the Lolita brands, but how was it for Austen and Austen?
Well, Austen and the Abbey was quite conceptual, really. There are so many fantastic events around the world. I've heard in Australia they have, and I only just found this out recently, actually, they have a week away or weekend away where Lolitas go and they stay in sort of like a summer camp, which is a fantastic idea. And then also, of course, last year there was the Juliet Justine hosted by the Tea Party Club, which was...
That's it, yeah.
Exactly. That was the first large-scale Lolita event where there was guests from Japan. And there's also the French Convention Lolita, which happens in Paris. And that's a fantastic event as well, because it gets everyone together. It was almost like a package holiday in the UK, where people would come and they would have everything from sort of dancing to tours to special guests to being able to shop. But also they'd learn something as well. There's sort of like this historical element and historical attractions. So the concept was really appreciated when we came up, and we refined it and we accepted all suggestions, and we got some great advice from the Lolita community and also the Maury Girl community, because the UK Maury Girl Club we invited on board, and they came on board, and they're sort of very up and coming in the UK. They're trying to do more and more events and trying to become more out there and trying to become more popular. And since we've actually done the event itself, as with any convention, especially a convention run by volunteers on a very very tiny budget, short staff, there were sort of things that got a bit delayed, and there's a lot of running around. But the actual attractions themselves went down really well. The fashion show involving all the different brands all in one go was really well appreciated. We had Coco from the fantastic pop group duo called Dimulch. She was playing piano, so she was playing this baby grand piano during the show, so that was well appreciated. And then we had a Regency dance as well. So there were lots of different things that Lolitas enjoyed. We also had a disco as well. So there were lots of sort of very traditional things at our Lolita event, and lots of things that we were trying out, which were sort of more energetic and more for the alternative Lolita. And we'd really like to potentially capitalise on that next time.
Yeah, it's good that it wasn't just about shopping as well. It was, you know, bringing everything together for a full event, I guess. Almost a show. Important question is, when will your next one be?
Well, in terms of the next one, I mean, this one, events are quite expensive in the UK, and the downturn has affected how much people are willing to help you, say, like with venues and services. And the whole Japanese culture in the UK does rest on volunteers. MCM, for instance, the majority of the people that work on MCM, despite the fact that it's
completely volunteer, I know about that. Done that myself.
So it is very much a labour of love still, and it's very hard to get that across to people who don't have a vested interest or a personal interest in Lolita. So for us, we hosted it in Warwickshire. Now, the reason why we hosted it in Warwickshire was because Stoney Abbey really wanted to work with us, and it's in the middle of nowhere in Warwickshire. So we involved Leamington Spa, but it was quite difficult to try and push the local hotels and the local venues to kind of really get behind us and support us, because they didn't understand the concept. So there was a lot of sort of really having to sort of push them to host the event, because if you type in Lolita into Google, of course, a lot of people don't want to go any further than that.
Yeah, the misconceptions,
So we've taken a lot of feedback back from this event, and the sort of the major thing is having a major budget and having capital behind you. So, for instance, if you're trying to make the money to make the event work from ticket sales, it's very different, very difficult, and very dicey. So, definitely, I would say that cooperation would be the best way. So, cooperation with all of the key Lolita communities in the UK and potentially France as well, to try and minimise the financial risk on the volunteers who are creating the event solely for people to enjoy. And that would be the first thing. I think there should be more cooperation in the Lolita community on a big scale. And I think some...
I have to say, though, first off, where did you advertise for volunteering? I did not see it anywhere. I would have happily jumped in to volunteer if I'd known well in advance.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of people have said that, which has been really surprising. And we've kind of scratched our heads, because we posted on LiveJournal, and all our posters have had logos on and things. It's almost been quite corporate in that we've had a house style, which we've developed over time. We've also got Press Cat, which is our mascot, which is seen everywhere. We've been to MCM.
Oh yeah, Preston.
We've had good old Preston, and we've had flyers, and we've also extensively been on Facebook. We've also used Facebook and posted and had polls and all this sort of stuff on all of the different groups throughout the UK. And also the French Convention have also promoted us as well, which has been really appreciated. So we've been everywhere. But yes, a lot of people still come up to us and say that they didn't know we existed and that we didn't ask for help. But we did post on our Facebook site, and we asked for sort of people to help out and that. But it seems that people have mistaken us for Frock On. I think because there's been two major events in a very short space of time, which they just so happen to have been scheduled around the space at the same time. It's been crazy. But I think people have gotten confused potentially because similar people are involved in these two events. For instance, we've got the same exhibitors. And I think it's just a case of that people have just perhaps thought that one event is the other. But apart from that, if anyone's got any suggestions on how to do that next time, then that's fantastic. And all offers of help are absolutely brilliant. I think the major thing with offers of help is that if you get a team behind it months and months in advance, you can all then work on the little bits of the event.
Yeah, at times that are appropriate to everyone, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, one important thing, where can they find you or the page to actually apply?
Rightio. Okay. Well, at the moment we have a blog which is called Sweet Sensibilities, and that is at sweetsensibilities.blog.fc2. So Foxtrot Charlie .fc2 fc2.com. So that's sweetsensibilities.blog.fc2.com, and that is where all of the Austin and the Abbey stuff is. But it's also any future events that we do, we will post on there.
Okay.
And we're also on Facebook as well, if you type in Austin and the Abbey as well.
Okay.
We'll have to look that one up.
Very important, yeah. Facebook is the way forward, I guess. It's just
Yeah,
lazy for people to type in website addresses. So
Well,
Facebook, Austin and Abby, search it, people. Definitely really good for upcoming Lolita events. Since we're on the topic of, Lolitas and misconceptions, I mean, Brolitas is a whole new ball game. Would you please explain to our listeners what Brolita-ism is about?
Yeah, sure thing. Well, Brolitas are essentially, I love the name Brolitas, and people really like that. It has this sort of almost military sort of Brolita sort of vibe to it. But Brolitas are basic chaps who like to wear the Lolita fashion. They may still wear Cadona or Aristocrat, but they predominantly prefer to wear the coordinates that Lolitas wear. So, the dresses, blouses, etc. And there can be many different reasons. Some Brolitas just enjoy wearing Lolita fashion for the pure aesthetics. And apart from that, they consider themselves to be 100% male. And there are some Brolitas who are more transgender, who like wearing Lolita fashion because of the aesthetics, but also because it expresses their, inner femininity or how they want to be seen by the world.
Okay, so for the average Joe, like you, you wear your outfit, but you just carry on being you. You don't turn on a different persona?
Not myself, no. Although a lot of Brolitas, they have a different name. Like they'll call themselves something different other than their very male name, and a lot of them will develop sort of almost like backstories, really. And it's not creepy. It's almost like when you have visual K stars.
No, it's like cosplay as well, yeah.
Exactly. It's all part of the excitement of it and creating this little backstory. So some of them create a backstory. With myself, I tend to be exactly the same as I am usually, except I obviously refine my manners, and there are certain sort of things that you don't do as a Brolita, obviously, that you would be able to get away with if you were sort of in Cadona or Aristocrat. So it's obviously tailoring your personality and tailoring just the way you are. But that's what happens when you when you want to dress up and you want to look more fine. You just you do these things, and you want to be appreciated for it, and you also don't want to make other people feel uncomfortable. I'd hate to make other people feel uncomfortable.
Also, the whole Brolita fashion following, of course, everything goes in Japan because that's where, fashion collides with everything. But it's slightly different around the West. How do you think the reception is around here?
That's a very interesting question. The West is very different to the East. The West is very much men are men and women are women. And in the East, although I haven't been to Japan, it seems very much, especially when you look at popular culture in Japan and in Asia, it seems very much like feminine men are far more accepted than they are in the West. There's a lot of, how would you describe it? I wouldn't say it's hostility usually, but there's a lot of unease about any men who
a lot of ignorance.
Yeah, you could say it's ignorance. A lot of people seem to still have this idea in the West that a man putting on a dress will be some sort of overweight, aging man. I mean, you see any dramas on TV in the UK or in America, and it's about someone who's transgender or someone who likes
drag
to cross
queen.
And exactly, there'd be a tragic story with someone who doesn't look very good, and they sort of dwell on all of the sort of humiliations and all this kind of thing. And it's really sad because then you watch TV in Japan and you'll see things like Princess, for instance, which is a live action show about guys who are wearing Lolita and they will be wearing it in school, and it's just seen as fun. And people get on with it. And you also have bands, for instance, back in the day you had Mana, these days you have Hazaki, and formerly of Versailles. I can't remember what they are now. Changed. Damn it, I can't remember what they are. But anyway, yeah. So there's a lot more acceptance of that, and there's a lot more excitement around it. But in the West, it's very much like if you want to dress up as a female, then you've got serious problems, and you need to be taken out and put down. Is how it seems.
Not cool. Not cool at all. Well, I've not seen any other Brolitas apart from you and Keisuke. Do you guys go on meets? Do you have a bigger following?
I don't know. I don't know about having a following. I have friends in the Lolita community, and lots of people I like working with. On different events. Where we sort of team up for different projects and that. So in terms of a following, I'm not sure we have a certain following. There are a few Brolitas that have blogs, but I can't think of them off the top of my head.
So it's more sporadic. It's more, underground.
Yes. I wouldn't say there's any sort of key figurehead Brolitas, if you see what I mean, who are always around. It just seems to be that we seem to pop up in all these different places, and then it will be a surprise if you meet a Brolita somewhere. It won't be. Usually they're not sort of signalled or, this Brolita's going to be there. It's very much you will suddenly just be like, they're a Brolita and they're a Brolita, and then you sort of then posse and start jumping up and down.
No, of course, definitely.
But there are more Brolitas coming out in. I say coming out. That makes it sound like this big epic thing. But there are more Brolitas which are sort of dressing up, and of all different ages as well, which is fantastic. So we're slowly getting there. We're slowly getting more of a presence. I don't think there's yet going to happen where there will be a Brolita meet. For instance, at Austin and the Abbey, we thought we'd have a section of the fashion show involving Brolitas, but there just wasn't the number of Brolitas that we'd need.
Enough to do a fashion show, of course. Yeah.
Of course, but there was a couple of Brolitas. For instance, Peter Warburton, who's this great Brolita from Australia, who's very dedicated, came all the way from Australia to Austin and the Abbey and came to visit all the different communities, such as the Lolita community in Manchester. And he took part in our show, and he really loved it. And his reception was great as well. And also Kazki on Sunday, he wore Lolitas to Stoney Abbey, and it was very well appreciated. And passers-by seemed to just get on with it, actually, which was quite nice.
Well, it's all about enjoying fashion and feeling comfortable in what you're wearing. It shouldn't be taken any further than that, really. People shouldn't, get offended or uppity about it, really. If you're just, having a fashion show, you're with your friends, it's fine,
Yeah, people seem to like to read behind the lines, especially with fashion these days. I mean, we live in an age, especially in the West, where fashion is very utilitarian. You wear a suit to go on a date, or to go to court, or to go to a job.
Or a funeral.
Or a funeral, exactly. So it's very functional. So these days, the idea of wearing something with ornamentation on it is seen as almost provocative, because why would you want to wear something that's so complicated to put on?
Yeah, probably difficult and uncomfortable, yeah.
Exactly. So the idea of a guy doing it, it just trebles it, because you think, oh, well, he's obviously trying to look feminine, therefore he's after men. And it's strange that there's still this mentality. So, yeah, it really taps into people's mindsets, and it's very slow to kind of turn people's thoughts where they'll just accept it open-mindedly, and they will accept you on whether you're a nice person or not, or whether you've done it well or not.
I mean, to be honest, though, if you've done a really good job with the makeup, no one's actually going to notice that you're a bloke. So,
well, that's a great thing about Lolita. I was saying that to someone, a passerby today, actually, that Lolita's fantastic because there is so much ornamentation, and there's so much artifice about it. Because obviously you've got the wig, or you've had the hair styled, and also you've got the petticoats underneath. Even though, of course, it's not a costume, you're still having to create a shape, much in the same way as ladies in the Victorian era would have had to create a shape. That would have been their everyday clothes, but they still would have had this sort of, it's almost like landscaping of your form. And that's what's great about Lolita, is as a man you can add curves where curves aren't there. You can add more luscious hair if your hair's a bit limp.
Compensate, yeah.
Fantastic, exactly. Yeah, we all really enjoyed putting Austin and the Abbey together, and it's great to have people's feedback. Coco really enjoyed playing on the piano, and we had the Regency Ball, which was taught by someone who came up from the Hampshire Regency Dance Society, which came up to teach all the Lolitas, which was incredibly enjoyable. We'd like to do more meets and events which happen outside of London, purely for the fact that there are so many wonderful places in the UK to meet up, and there are so many wonderful and diverse and crazy activities that we can all get up to, and that the different personalities in the Lolita community can all have something to do. So, for instance, there's a lot of Lolitas who enjoy having the tea parties, and they enjoy doing the shopping, and they really get into the shopping. And there's a lot of Lolitas who, I've heard this, and I don't know if it's an urban legend or not, I'd love to know, but apparently a group of Lolitas a few years ago went paintballing.
Whoa!
So I'd love to find out.
I'm just worrying about the dresses. I know how expensive they are.
Here's
They're
the thing,
paintballing in that.
they were like, don't worry, It wasn't brand, but I haven't seen pictures, and I'd love to find out whether it's an urban legend or not. But it's fantastic to think that if we could put together more events with stuff to appeal to alternative Lolitas and more traditional Lolitas, that would be absolutely fantastic. But sort of cooperation's the main thing, and just building up enough capital to be able to pull off everything, really. Because one of the things we wanted to do was have like a Mr. Selfridge style 19th century department store with sort of lots of pieces of brown furniture, you know, wardrobes that and sort of big tables and dressers and all this kind of stuff, because conventions can feel very cold in that when you're walking around, it's all very much like a warehouse, and we wanted to do something
pretty much. You only have like just little plastic walls to separate them, and it just looks a bit dreary. It's
a bit of a shame, really, because all of the exhibitors, they dress their stalls absolutely beautifully, and that's the first thing. When I went to the Lolita convention in Paris, that's one of the things that I saw was the tables are so beautifully dressed, and a lot of the time, especially at conventions in the UK, it's just a shame that their surroundings don't really sort of complement that. So we wanted to have like pot plants and water features and all this sort of stuff, and to try and create more of a sort of luxurious experience where they feel more at home, and their wonderful items on display can be sort of offset or complemented by the surroundings. And it was quite hard to do, and it was pretty expensive to do, so that we'd probably do it a different way next time, but we'd love to do something like that again. But I'm just amazed by the creativity of the Lolita community. And
there is so much you can do, though, Francesco. It's just a matter of actually transporting all the props and stuff, especially if you're in like a really, I mean, because I know a lot of the Lolitas actually come from outside London to most of the meets, but if you're going to go like up north or something, actually getting everything there is probably going to be a hassle.
Yeah, of course. A lot of them did say that they were having issues on trains with bringing dress forms up, so we try to provide as much as possible on limited budget. We had some favours. For instance, the Lions charity provided us with bits and pieces.
Oh, that's nice.
Fantastic. So we tried to provide as much as we could, because we wanted, instead of having like just clothing racks, we wanted wardrobes and chest of drawers and things that you could kind of rummage through and have that excitement.
It fits in with the whole atmosphere, doesn't it?
That's what we were trying to do. So we got to get as much furniture as possible, but transportation is difficult, and I think future Lolita events, we would like to have, for instance, like bigger vans, like Luton vans and coaches, so that it would be easier to ferry people around the country, so that the event can have the sort of, everyone can have as much as their stock there as possible, and can dress their stalls as beautifully as possible, so that we can have the sort of most amazing experience, basically. And it's sort of building up to that. And with what the Tea Party Club are doing with Rock On, and what they're doing with Juliet Justine, they're getting there. The French Convention also, they're doing a fantastic job, so their stalls tend to look gorgeous. And also with Austin and the Abbey as well, we hope that with our sort of mini department store thing, we also were getting there as well. So we enjoyed doing that. So there's definitely, I think, in the next few years, hopefully, if there's more events and there's more conventions and Lolita gets bigger, that there should be some exciting stuff happening, definitely, and some amazing sights.
I'm sure there definitely will be another few events in the future, because you got such a great response after it was over. So I've seen some of the videos. It looks amazing.
Thank you very much. I mean, we really appreciate the feedback. I mean, as I said, it wasn't all plain sailing. There was lots of things, like dealing with external hotels was very difficult, and busing people all over without, I mean, hiring coaches is thousands of pounds, so we couldn't do things like that. But we're very happy that people really enjoyed all the diverse attractions and that. So it's fantastic to see pictures and video being posted. It's really satisfying. And, you know, we're listening to people's feedback and such, and working with people. So if we were to do something, say, next year, for instance, then we would be very interested in cooperating with different Lolita groups and having them cooperate with us, because I think cooperation is the main thing in Lolita communities. Pooling resources. I wouldn't say it's organisation, it's more of a resource thing.
Expanding the family.
Exactly. One big family, that's it.
Getting help from your brothers and sisters, that's what you call it. Calling in the favours.
It'd be scary. It'd be scary if we managed to put all together all of the sort of money into a massive pot and rent out coaches and vans and things, and then opened it to the public, so the public would discover it more. It'd be fantastic to get shows like the One Show in the UK, for instance, and local news agencies to come in and do pieces there, because I think once people see that it's not some weird fetish and it's not a strange costume that people like
yeah.
once they see that this is sort of genuine and it's exciting, I think then more people would be more accepting, more people would want to become Lolitas, and I think it would just make it a little bit more open.
Yeah, it'd be a bit more accepted, and then you'd get more funding, and that means better goodie bags and great opportunities. Yeah. All about the goodie bags and the photos, isn't it?
It is indeed, and getting the brands over to the UK is very difficult because of the flights, and it's extremely expensive. The brands are very worried about the fact that Lolita sales in different parts of the world have been falling due to the recession. Apparently there's reports that in Japan, Lolita's not selling as much. I don't know whether this is definitely the case, because I can't see their figures and all this sort of stuff, but there has been a worry. But
Francesco, stop!
Sorry,
because the 15-minute segment.
Oh, sorry, your fault.
No, that's the only reason I'm saying stop, because you're just going to keep talking and it's just not going to
I'll continue to talk about getting brands over, so sorry about that.
That's all right.
Just stopping now, and it's just in 5, 4, 3.
So what else do you think will make this more, accessible?
I think with regards to Brolita and it being accessible to the public is obviously there's the understanding part of it. So I think it's very important for Brolitas to be confident when they're wearing Lolita as much as possible, and to answer questions and to just show that they aren't sort of slinking away in the shadows and that they aren't this sort of strange being. So I think it's very important to sort of show your best side as much as possible, and which can be difficult, obviously, if you're getting stared at. You can't go up to everyone and say, blah, 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 I'm doing this. You can't do that to everyone, but it's important to sort of be as polite as possible. And that goes with Lolitas as well, is the more, if you're going out in Lolita, you kind of got to expect that people are going to take photos, and therefore you have to have an unlimited enthusiasm for people wanting to take your
a lot of patience.
Pictures. Exactly. And I mean, when I go out in Brolita, I just tell myself people are going to look. If I don't want people to look, then I won't go out in Brolita. Obviously, if people look and they will give you a dirty look, for instance, after you've had one or two of those, you're going to be upset. You're going to wish that people were not going to do it. But on the whole, I think it's just important to just show that it's that it's fun. If you appear happy, people will come up to you. They'll probably ask you what theatre performance you're in or something, and then they'll go, "Oh, I really like your costume," and you've just got to grin and bear it, because the chances are they're probably not going to understand that you don't see this as a costume. They're going to see that this dress is completely irrational because you've got all these petticoats and things, and it doesn't really work with modern life, so they think. But you've just got to grin and bear it. But I think specifically for Brolitas, it can be difficult trying to make yourself look as feminine as possible to try and fit in, and I tend to get very hung up on that. I mean, my frame is quite petite. People say short when you're a man, but I prefer the word petite.
Of course.
I'm not short, damn it. That makes me sound I'm petite, but I've got quite a masculine face, so it can be very difficult, especially when you're very angular like me, to kind of make yourself look more feminine. So I think you've got to bring your own sort of touch to it, and you've got to have a niche. So, for instance, with myself, I think when I become more confident wearing more Lolita, because I've suddenly realised I don't have that many coordinates, and I'm usually working on Lolita events. I tend to end up getting stuck on working on things and doing projects, and I don't tend to end up wearing it that much, which is really annoying. I suddenly realised that I don't wear it as much as I'd like, and some of that is confidence-based, because a lot of the big sort of Lolita events, I worry that I'm going to show people up and I'm not going to look good enough, and there's going to be it's going to be issues, which can be unfounded thinking like that. I've mainly lost my train of thought there.
Well, I'll jump in right there. The
Thank
next
you.
biggest Japanese event will be in next weekend, which is Hyper Japan. Will you be there?
Hyper Japan's next weekend. Okay, that's completely and utterly news to me. I've got sparkles in my brain, and I've probably had too much Pims recently, and too much sugar as well. I just have survived on cupcakes, which is wonderful, but it's not very good for really building brain cells. So Hyper Japan is next weekend. I would love to go. Hyper Japan is great because you've got all the food and the fashion and everything. And once again, it's all about the social meetups, and London's a good place for that, you know, sort of.
And Lolita's quite a big aspect of Hyper Japan. Will you be dressing up, or are you just going to go chill out, casual?
Oh, if I go, I definitely want to be dressing up. I mean, when it's warm, it can be a bit of a problem with makeup and stuff, because men tend to perspire a little bit more than women, which is bloody frustrating.
Glisten, darling, glisten.
That's glisten, that's it, and I hate that.
Don't worry, I can't keep makeup on me in the best of times, so you're not the only one.
A lot of Lolitas do come up to me and they say, you know, you do realise that we have the same problems that you do. Because I think Brolitas, we sometimes think that we have all these issues and stuff, but Lolitas, they have the same issues, like with falsies falling off and all this kind of stuff. So it's quite nice that we all have similar issues, a lot of the time. So yeah, I'd like to go in Lolita. So if I can go in Lolita, then I'm definitely going to push myself to go in Lolita more, and also to buy more Lolita clothing as well, because a lot of the time it's a trade-off. You either work on events or you buy it. I don't understand how most Lolitas and Brolitas seem to work on events and do projects and also buy Lolita. I never seem to be able to get the balance right, and I either spend more money on one thing than the other. So they'll definitely push.
There's always the art to trying to conserve your money in the right directions, but it never really works. If you see the one stall there and, you know, all your favourite stuff's there, you're going to buy it all from there and realise, oh, crap, I've spent most of my money. But that's always the temptation, really. When you feel like, oh, I'm the first buyer, I need to get everything now.
Especially on bring and buy sales.
Oh, goodness, they're the best, because you don't know if you're going to get it again.
Exactly, you know, you might find a piece of brand or something that's, you know, that's just gorgeous, that's sort of, it's you, and you haven't seen it anywhere else, and you think, that's going to go absolutely perfectly, and I think everyone has that sort of, that coordinate or that dress or that blouse, which they feel super confident in, which fits them absolutely perfectly, and the colours are just correct for the skin and everything, and then you kind of want to find those pieces which you're always going to be able to go to and which you're going to feel the best in.
And the best part is they now have portable changing rooms, so you can actually try some pieces on.
Ah, great, because there were tents. I mean, the first time in 2011.
No, you didn't, yeah. And I think some pieces, because of the materials and stuff, they'd rather you not try it on because stains and in case rippage and that.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Very important. So definitely, listeners, if you're all attending Hyper Japan, you will definitely see me, Alex, Harriet, hanging about in cosplay, and definitely Francesco. Do come down, say hello, and if you have any questions, do feel free to ask. Francesco is very, very lovely and friendly, and he won't bite your head off, and he definitely talk about Brolitas and the whole Austin and Abbey event.
Yeah, also probably Karen from Austin and the Abbey as well, and Kazuki.
Oh, yeah, the other organisers.
And they actually went to Japan, and they spent a month there, and they went out with Coco, they went out with Yuko from Atelier Perot, who's the managing director of Atelier Perot, and also the designer from Fairy Wish, Alice Kobayashi. So they'll have loads and loads of tales. They had an absolutely amazing time with them. So, yeah, definitely if you know of them and you want to ask them about their trip to Japan, then ask them, because they did an amazing job getting all the brands over, because without them, the brands would not have come over.
It's definitely really good if you have a PR person there, and especially because Karen can actually speak Japanese. Helps.
And they're also very friendly as well. And Kazuki being a Brolita, he's very open about being a Brolita, which is fantastic. And he also does it really, really well. So
that's what you need. Well. I mean, because sometimes when you got someone who's like, for example, cosplay or Brolita or Lolita, and they're a bit shy, that can sometimes come across as unfriendly. Yeah. So sometimes if you're just confident for the sake of it, it really does help.
Exactly. Yeah. It's
more approachable. Brilliant. Awesome. Thanks for being on the show with us, Francesco.
Okay, I really appreciate asking the questions, and I hope it's potentially spurred some Brolitas who haven't yet got into Brolitas to become.
No, hopefully it's opened up a doorway for some people to maybe experiment into it, and and not question, silly things like, sexual orientation and that, and it's just for them to have fun with, I know a lot of fashion students actually that will just wear dresses just for the sake of they made it and it looks really flattering and they want to wear it. That's it.
Fantastic.
Deal with it.
it's great being creative, and these days a lot of people think you have to justify in a certain way. But a lot of creativity you don't need to justify. It just is, and you just want to do it. And you go out. If you make mistakes, then you make mistakes. And the Lolita community is quite experimental. I mean, our event was quite experimental, and a lot of the stuff that I wear. I mean, I tried Bittersweet recently, which was sort of experimental for me because I hadn't worn that style before. I tend to only sort of suit sort of reds and things like that. And that's part of the fun of the Lolita, is accepting that there's a lot of experimentation, finding out what works, what doesn't, and just getting on with it and fiddling around and having fun and having adventures and exploration.
And actually, good point. You've just reminded me. The anime Rosen Maiden
Of course.
has rebooted this summer, and I've seen the first episode. And I was just going to ask you, what do you think about the fashion movement in the actual series? I
think that in terms of the look and the aesthetics in Rosen Maiden, it's very rich, and I absolutely adore what they're all wearing. I love the fact of the richness of it. It definitely appeals to me, especially being very interested in a classic Lolita and also interested in Victorian costume as well. I think the vibrancy of it is fantastic, and there's a lot of sort of classical and gothic elements as well. So, for instance, like with the shoes, for instance, it's almost like very old school Lolita, which is really nice to kind of look back on, because I don't like the fact that sometimes it seems like Lolita's going to lose its roots. I like there always to be this continuity and this appreciation to it. So I just love the vibrancy of it, and also seeing the new designs as well, seeing the new design, the costumes and the looks and how it all puts together. And that's what's wonderful about anime, and especially Rosen Maiden, is just how they just seem to be as creative as possible and throw all of their energy, so it seems, at creating these characters which look absolutely wonderful and very diverse.
And it's lovely how they did a lot of focusing on the bonnets as well. And I thought, oh, that's perfect. It's totally like in the Austen Abbey kind of theme.
It's great how bonnets have come up. That's a very good point, actually. And especially as last year when people discovered that you can make bonnets out of very cheap hats from Primark.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a friend of mine, Marianne, who's a Lolita in London, she started making bonnets out of these little straw hats that you can buy in Primark. And I think you can still do it this year. And it's just started this revolution that you can actually make bonnets quite cheaply. Or you can obviously buy them from all different Lolita sellers in the UK and different companies. But I love the fact that they have all the different bonnets and the different hats. It's great. Bonnets are good. I discovered bonnets a couple of years ago after thinking them as sort of like a bit of an alien thing to wear on your head. And I just think they look very graceful. And you've got all the different styles of bonnets. You've got the sort of wide brim, or you've got poke bonnets. Bonnets, they're great.
Yeah, pro bonnets.
Whenever I see bonnets, I always think of myself of doing sort of like a Lolita style video, but doing it in the style of Top Gear, and then having a Lolita, or maybe having Richard Hammond as a Lolita, because I think he'd be a sweet Lolita, and I think James May would be a classic Lolita, and then Jeremy Clarkson, who's still in his stonewashed jeans and his t-shirt, but he's just got this monster head-eating bow, and I can't do Jeremy Clarkson's voice very well. But he'd probably be like, this bow is the biggest in the world. And then he would talk about it being made by Angelic Pretty and everything, and then he'd sort of talk about how amazing this big bow is. But then he'd just kind of walk up to Richard Hammond, obviously towering over Richard Hammond, and just be like, let's have a look under the bonnet.
Hey!
Yeah, I would love Top Gear to actually do that for real, and I'm sure Jeremy Clarkson could do a much better impression of himself than I could. But yeah, I'd love to see the whole Top Gear crew in Lolita, and they would definitely do the whole let's have a look at the bonnet.
Oh my god, what ifs? That would be an amazing episode. We need to make it happen. Right, email the BBC.
That's it. We're going to ring the BBC, we're going to email the BBC, and there's going to be a Top Gear episode of the Top Gear crew, and they're all going to Osaka to wear Lolita, and they're all going to bitch about each other's co-wards, and they're all going to whinge about it and stuff. And it would be great to see which ones they probably wear, because I do think that Richard Hammond would be sweet. Definitely. And James May would be classical. He'd probably have ship. He'd probably have the print on his dress would probably like have ships or steam engines or something like that.
Oh, nautical, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But Jeremy Clarkson would just wear jeans, t-shirt, and just a massive monster steel encrusted bow.
Yeah. That's how it should be. Right, so this is the end of the show now. So it's been really great. We've been chatting to Francesco Telegothica, Brolita extraordinaire, and also it's been me, Aisha, Alex, and Harriet. Bye for now.
Bye.
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 Oh, Alex, you're bye. Bye.
That was very sweet
Died
at
a
the end.
horrible death.
It's almost like you're in a sort of box that's been knocked away.
www.wearearcade.com